Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May our homage to my teacher Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, friends, let's begin our mindfulness in Buddhist way, Dhamma discussion. Now we are going to start. First, friends, I would like to let you know a few things. While you listen to the Buddha's teachings, try to listen to the teaching with your complete focus. So we normally study the Buddha's teachings that Buddha taught to the people to become enlightened. So while you are also listening to the teachings, do your best to listen to that with your complete attention, complete focus. Okay? And again, when you listen to the Dhamma, try to have a good place that you sit, like a place that you won't fall into sleep while listening to the teachings. Especially when we are not ill or we don't have a special disease or something in the body, try your best to have a sitting posture to listen to the teachings. Buddha say not to listen to the Dhamma while leaning on the bed. Okay, because it is out of respect. Sometimes when the Buddha go to see a monk, so he see that the monk is lying down because he is having some sickness. So in those moments, Buddha say, okay, just be relaxed and lean on this bed and just stay like that. You don't need to sit down because those times the monk is going to sit down regardless of his pain. Buddha say, no, just stay like that and listen to the Dhamma because you have some sickness. But other times when we listen to the Dhamma, normally we sit down. Normally we sit down and we don't normally even do a walking while we're listening to the teachings. Okay, so that way we can put more focus and also more respect. So the Buddha's teaching has this kind of respect among the teacher and the student, and also among the other practitioners. Because these are wholesome qualities, these are good qualities we cultivate. So that way we need a respect to the ones around us to develop these practices. I remember in a certain verse, Enlightened Bhante say, when one does not have respect to the ones who lives with, that person will go away from the teachings. Which means that if, let's say that I'm living with somebody and I'm listening to the Dhamma and I'm thinking about developing peace of mind and cultivating good thoughts. If I don't respect to the person who is next to me, I cannot practice the Dhamma. Buddha say that person cannot successfully develop good qualities and peace of mind, let alone the mindfulness. So Buddha say one need to respect to the one in front of them in order to develop good things. Why? Because let's say that we develop loving kindness. So if we develop loving kindness, to whom that this love receives? The person that we lives with, that they rejoice in our good qualities, our loving kindness. Okay. Let's say that I need to develop mindfulness. So when I respect to the people around me, that development of the mindfulness will support me to increase that mindfulness because I have that connection around the people around me. I have that connection with them. So that way we can develop mindfulness, we can develop peace of mind. But let's say that I hate someone that I live with. So Buddha say that is the block to the good qualities to cultivate. Buddha say in a certain teaching, I remember that if you have a anger at a companion that you live with the spiritual life, that you are having a arrow stuck in your heart, that you cannot move forward. He said that you cannot develop mindfulness, develop loving kindness or peace of mind if you have anger at somebody that you live with. So it is like an arrow which is stuck. So what is then the biggest problem when we are going to meditate? It will be the anger that we have about the person that we live with. So up until that we pull out that arrow, we cannot meditate. That anger will be the biggest problem in that moment. So we won't cultivate good qualities because we might so much concerned. So we see this person, we talk to this person, then we have anger with that person, we don't have friendliness with that person. So those enlightened Bhantes say that person goes away from the practice. Gradually, that person step backwards in the training. It's not making that person to progress in the teaching. As long as that person lack the respect, lack the uh, love, lack the loving kindness, that person cannot cultivate good qualities. Okay. Now, when we listen to the Dhamma, the first thing is that we bring the respect to the teacher, to the Buddha, and also to the teachings. So you might have heard this story before, like right after Buddha becoming an enlightened being, what he did was that it said that he surveyed the entire world. Is there somebody in this world that I can choose to pay my respect? So he thought, is there anybody in this world that I can pay respect and live with that person to fulfill my ethics, to complete my virtues? Is there such a person in this world that I can choose and make that person as my teacher? And then he searched, is there a person in this world that who is much more advanced and far than my concentration? is there a person in this world that is much more advanced and far than my wisdom, so that I can live with him or her and paying respect so to complete my ethics, my concentration, my wisdom. So what is the purpose of having a teacher? Is to complete our own ethics. Now you have your own ethics, you have your peace of mind, you have your wisdom. Now why you are searching for a teacher or a teaching? The purpose is to complete them. So Buddha also surveyed in the world to find somebody who is there so that I can pay respect. So without respect, these qualities cannot be cultivated. So that is why he thought, okay, I should pay my respect and then I can listen to the Dhamma, to whatever teaching that person gives me, then I can increase my wholesome qualities. Then what happened was that when he surveyed in the world, in the human world, in the Brahma world, in the other higher heavenly worlds, and he found nobody to equal his own ethics, virtue, and his own concentration and wisdom. And this is what he thought. He thought, okay, better I will keep this my knowledge, my awakened knowledge as my teacher. So he got this Buddha's understanding, this Buddha's enlightenment, the Dhamma, the ultimate truth, as my teacher. He thought like that. Okay, now day on, I will keep this teaching as my teacher. So still Buddha respect to what he awakened, which means that is detachment. So that he didn't have attachment to what he's awakened, but he paid his respect to the teachings. Okay. Now, for what we are listening now? To the teacher of the Buddha, which means, literally, which means we are listening to the Buddha's knowledge that Buddha himself also respected. If we were to listen to these teachings by lying down and eating and walking and talking with others, it's not, we are not, at least we are not getting closer to the training. So it needs that much of respect. This is how Buddha respected to the teaching. One day, Buddha went to another monastery with the Ananda Bhante. And they two, both of them are going to the monastery. And the Buddha heard inside the monastery, those people are talking the Dhamma. They are talking, okay, this is how we should observe precepts, this is how we should meditate, this is how we should develop our wisdom. They were talking there. Now the Buddha heard that. And he wanted to go inside, but he stood up outside the door without knocking the door because that it could break the ongoing discussion on the Dhamma. That is how Buddha respected to the Dhamma. He didn't thought, okay, I taught that. They are speaking my words, so I'm the owner of this. No, he just stood up and stood there up until the conversation ends with the Ananda Bhante. And then he did this, clearing the throat. That's their tradition at that time. They clear the throat and then knock the door 3 times. So Buddha did that. Then they realized, okay, Buddha entered. Somebody came, so they opened the door, and it was Buddha. So they had such a Buddha had such a respect, and the people also had such respect to the teaching. Now, with the technology, we receive the teachings and mix of teachings that we have still very difficulty to get the actual teaching Buddha said. But still, when we listen to the Dhamma, we normally listen to the Dhamma by respecting the teachings. Oh, this is sacred because this was the knowledge of the life. This is the truth of the life, which was hidden and it couldn't be discovered by anyone. It was only discovered by the Buddha. The truth about the life was here, but nobody couldn't awaken to that. The most of the population was looking a solution for the pain and suffering outside. Okay, that there can be the liberation. There, that place can have the liberation. This by doing this or that can have the liberation. So most of ourselves are directed to outside, external things to find our happiness and relief from the suffering. But then because of practicing the good things, the highest goal of the good things is the enlightenment. So Buddha attained that enlightenment and understood what is hidden in the life. Okay. So Buddha once said, it is in your body that you have that freedom, that happiness that you are looking for, not in outside. Today we can talk about whatever going on outside. If we want to know what's going on in another country far from us and what those people are talking, what they are eating, what they are dressing, we can easily get to know from here. If we want to know about the certain species of fish in the bottom of the ocean, we can easily know. If we want to know about the planets, whether there are living beings or not, whether there are water or not, we can easily get to know. But we still in a confusion about our own life. So why we get angry? Why we get greed? Why we get delusion? Why we don't have peace of mind? Probably you have heard this discussion also. One day there was a Deva came to the Buddha and stood up in front of the Buddha and asked the Buddha, Buddha, by going physically, can you go to the end of the world, end of the universe by walking physically? So he asked the Buddha, a deity, and the Buddha said straightly, Buddha said directly, no. You cannot physically go to the end of the world. And this man, this Deva said, this deity said, exactly, Buddha, that is very true. That's so true, Buddha. I had a life that I can go very fast. So I go really fast from uh, one galaxy to other galaxy, as I remember. Like very fast, I went to find the end of this universe. I wanted to see the end. So I went physically. I had such a fast body and power that I can fly so fast. And I went and went and went. I had a long lifespan and I passed all the lifespan. And I went really fast. And I only stopped for taking my food and drink water and to have some sleep. But other times I was always traveling and traveling and traveling to find the end. Why he wanted to find the end? Because he wanted to go to that end and then experience ultimate bliss, experience ultimate happiness inside. And he said, even though I went, my lifespan ended, but I couldn't reach to the end, which means it was limitless. I cannot go. It's infinite. So then I came back and I asked you, Buddha. So you said exactly what I experimented. I went and I found no place that I can reach to the end. So then the Buddha said, Deva, I don't say that by physically going that you can go to the end of the world. And I also don't say without going to the end of the world that you won't find the liberation. What was it? I don't say that without going to the end of the world that by physically that you can go to the end of the world, but without going to the end of the world, you won't liberate. You won't be able to release from suffering. And next Buddha say, the world that I'm saying is not the outside. The world you have, Buddha say, it is inside. Now you gotta go to the end of the world inside. That way, when you go to the end of the world inside world, that you will liberate. Buddha say, don't find it outside. Don't run here and there, finding solutions for your suffering. You'll get food, you can get food, you can get a shelter, you can get medicine, you can get clothes. And when you are going to end the suffering, Buddha say, look inside. Buddha say, he said to the Deva that in this body, 5 feet, as I remember, 5 feet, Buddha say, in this 5 feet body, you have what you need. You'll see actually what you need is liberation. What we find is the perfect peace of mind. Buddha said you can attain that inside. But not only you have that, the awakening, but you also have 3 more in this body. He said, you have suffering in this body. Do you have? Do you have pain in this body? Yes, we are changing, our body is changing, and we have sicknesses, we have terrible sicknesses, sometimes we fall into so much pain. There is suffering. And he said, there is also the reason, cause for the suffering, and you have the awakening. And the path, the practice, where is that practice? Outside? Where is the practice to the liberation? Noble Eightfold Path. The practice for the liberation is the Noble Eightfold Path. It is here. Is not somebody else outside doing this. You don't put your responsibility to an external a person. Okay, please protect preset for me. So I will later be enlightened. Please meditate for me. Then I will make my mind peaceful. Please go and develop wisdom for me. So then I can be enlightened. So Buddha say the path is here. Liberation is here. Suffering is also here. Cause is also here. So Buddha say, in this 5 feet body, you have everything you need. You found the path and you develop that path, and then you gradually reach to the awakening, to the liberation. Okay, so we cannot buy this liberation from Walmart, can we? We go to the shelf and we see, okay, this is what I need. Okay, I put it in my pocket or my bag, and then I give the money and then I come back. No, it is not like that instant. This is the worst difficult thing. Enlightened Bhante say, this is the world's most difficult thing to do. What is it? To awaken to yourself, to discover yourself. So whoever tell you, okay, come here, I will give you instantly, I will give you this practice. Don't trust, because it is not possible. You cannot take that immediately. It is until that you meditate yourself. You cannot stay up until it fall down from the sky. You need to do it for yourself. Okay. The practice is inside of us. So we step by step we need to keep practicing the virtue, and it will open up ourselves to the concentration and to the wisdom. And again, I remembered that this peace of mind that we're looking for, that everybody desire, that we want to make our mind peaceful. So the peace of mind is coming to us with the practicing the human qualities. Let's say that we practice compassion. So the compassion itself can bring you peace of mind. Let's say that you practice loving kindness. It can bring you peace of mind. So the manifestation, the climax of all our human qualities are the peace of mind. When we increase our skillful side, when it reaches to the peak, that is our concentration, our peace of mind. Have you ever found somebody tell you, because of my loving kindness, my compassion, that I had so much distracted mind? Have you found somebody tell you, like, because of I got angry, my mind was very restless. My mind is going here and there. Have you found such people? Like that happens to me and to us also. Like sometimes when we get into anger and we think up so much conceit in us and we put others down and then we think, okay, I have anger, so very stress. So there are such moments in our lives. And again with hate, when we get greediness, when we get jealousiness, all of these things brings us so much restless mind, distraction. Mind is start to go here and there. But how about good qualities? If we develop loving kindness, those are the loving kindness can be increased to the unlimited level, vast like a sky. You don't need to limit that. Please don't. We don't need to limit the loving kindness because of another person. Why? The peace of mind is actually the increase of our skillful qualities, increase of our wholesome qualities, our good qualities. So that is actually what we call the peace of mind, because it can be like strange. Sometimes it can confuse us. If somebody were to tell us, okay, you do this, your mind will be peace, then we might confuse because we don't know what is that peace of mind. How you measure that peace of mind? What are the metrics for the peace of mind? Then the same person tells you, okay, this is the metric for the peace of mind. Then it become more commercialized and the mindfulness become more commercialized. And then the person tells, okay, now you have peace of mind. 1 year ago, I remember the person came to the meditation retreat and he said that he was a stream mentor. I said, okay, wow, that's wonderful. You are a stream mentor. I said, yeah, that's so wonderful. And then I asked, how? And he said, this teacher gave me this certificate that you are stream mentor. So I have in my house. And my wife too, she's also a stream mentor. And we both got this certificate. Like finding that peace of mind by externally won't make a successful attainment. I don't know. I didn't ask any further. So this should be with the wholesome qualities. There is a popular word my teacher Bante always say, that he say like, before you go to the higher attainments like enlightenment, stream entry, non-returning, and once returning, stand on your good wholesome qualities. Develop loving kindness. He say most of the time, he say, uh, if you develop loving kindness, if you develop compassion, if you practice generosity, if you uh, do chores and activities to others, if you grow your merits, your good qualities, That will take you to the higher attainments. If you forget all those things and if you only focus to the higher attainments, it is impossible. Teacher Bhante said. He said that first focus to the human qualities before you go to the superhuman qualities. Try to be more patience. Try to train patience. Try to train humbleness. One day I remember he said, if I were to see a monk who is living humbly, if I were to see somebody is got out from the pride, if that person is not puffed up, if I see a person, a monk who is so much caring and helping others and living in a compassionate way, and he especially emphasized about doing chores and activities to the other Bhantes and sweeping and cleaning the monastery. He said, giving necessary respect to the others and venerating elders. When I see such a person, such a monk, I feel that is this monk attained something? Probably this monk have attained a higher goal. This monk would be having a very successful attainment. That's why he living like that. Because that is the most hardest thing to do. To be humble, to respect, to be kind, to be tolerant, to bear others' sharp, severe words. It's very difficult. Because there was like a discussion among the community that there is enlightened Bhante, there is a one who attained enlightenment among the monks community. So my teacher Bhante say, if somebody would, so the other monks also had that desire. So the teacher Bhante said, okay, if somebody were to have that enlightenment, they should have these marks in their life. It is not that they don't talk anybody with anybody. Okay, I'm enlightened. I don't like you. Don't come to talk to me. No, no. Enlightenment means the increase of love, humbleness. Do you remember this story about the Sariputta Bhante? One day a monk hit actually when the Sariputta Bhante was going to leave the monastery, Sariputta Bhante was the second only to the Buddha in the wisdom. Said that he has a very vast wisdom. There was no any other disciple, any other practitioner who had such a wisdom about the life. He was said to be he only listened to 4 verses. When the two lines were uttered, he became a stream mentor. But his lifestyle was so humble, really amazing. Like he was so gentle, he was so kind. He was so he doesn't have pride. He doesn't have so much conceit. Normally, if somebody were to get so much knowledge, what happens? Normally, that person think, okay, I'm the most knowledgeable person. So now come, let's argue, let's debate. I have vast knowledge. That's normally one things when one gets so much knowledge, one becomes so much conceit. Okay. Now this Bhante was going to leave the monastery. Accidentally, a part of the rope touched another monk's body. And the second monk, living in the monastery, was searching for an opportunity to attack this enlightened Bhante out of jealous. He had so much jealousness in his heart at the enlightened Bhante, Sariputta Bhante. So then when the robe was touched, this monk fell down, crying, "Oh no, this Bhante beat me." And he fell down like a tree cut off. And then he started to crawl. crying and crying and crying. Such an innocent person I am. Why this monk beat me? Look, this monk, without asking me forgiveness, he left. Enlightened Bhante didn't know anything because it was only the touch. Now this monk cannot lie, tell a lie. He said, okay, he strike me. It's because the robe touched his body. And then he cried and cried. And the other Bhantes gathered and looked. Now this monk was crying. And then they lifted him up and took him to the Supreme Buddha. And the other enlightened Bhantes like Moggallana Bhante and the Ananda Bhante know that this monk is going to the Supreme Buddha and take into the Supreme Buddha, and the Supreme Buddha will ask the chief Bhante, the Sariputta Bhante, to visit. And the other two Bhantes, the Moggallana Bhante and the Ananda Bhante, went to the other Bhante's kutis, rooms, and knocked their doors and said, please come, please come. The chief Bhante, the Sariputta Bhante, is going to do a lion's roar. He's going to do a lion's roar. They already knew that. Now, the monk is crying side of the Supreme Buddha, and other Bhantes are gathered together there. And the Supreme Buddha said, okay, as the Sariputta Bhante, that the Buddha summoned him, asked him to come back. And the Sariputta Bhante returned and came to the Buddha's place where Buddha living. And Buddha asked, normally Buddha don't go for the judgments or choices, decisions without knowing the real situation. And he asked this Sariputta Bhante, okay, come here. Okay, now I have this victim and I have this the supreme, like the chief Bhante. Now Buddha himself know that the chief Bhante is not wrong, because that the Buddha know that the chief Bhante won't do such a thing because he's enlightened. But Buddha, out of compassion to the others who are not awakened, he wanted to show the good qualities, because if there is an opportunity for somebody to show the good qualities, Buddha won't stop that. Buddha make all the necessary conditions to put another person's good qualities out, because he love others' happiness, and he has so much rejoice in his heart at others' happiness and others' good qualities. So Buddha didn't say, okay, he's not a I would say like he's not a bad person. Like, go away. He won't do such bad things. But the Buddha say, okay, ask them, both of them, to come here. And they came. And then the Buddha asked the chief Bhante, is that true? This monk tells that you beat him without asking for forgiveness? That you left? Is that true, Sariputta? Then the enlightened Bhante said, if somebody were to lost the mindfulness of the body, that person might attack a companion without asking for forgiveness, will leave the monastery. But I don't have such a lack of mindfulness in my body. He said, I'm living like a cow. One's horns were cut off, that I don't desire and wish to attack others. I'm not finding opportunities to attack other people, because I live with focused mindfulness to the body. If somebody were to lose that mindfulness to the body, they would do such thing. But I won't do such thing. I'm living like a boy who was born in a low caste, that is going in the city with so much humble mind. Let's suppose that there is a boy born in a low caste family when it is the situation in India. So normally people don't praise a low caste boy at that time. So if there was such a boy, that boy will go so much humbleness, so much gentleness. Don't think about attacking others. With so much patience, that boy go. The enlightened Bhante that has vast knowledge, vast wisdom about the life, say that I live like that boy who was carrying a bowl to collect food, that I have such a gentle and humble mind. And again he said, I live my life like the water, the air, the fire, the sky, which is limitless. He said that normally if somebody were to put something to the water doesn't say, okay, now it says that in the simile, it say, like, let's say somebody were to put bad things to the water, dirty things to the water. The water doesn't become horrified, doesn't get angry. Water doesn't say, okay, please don't put these bad things in me. Those are so impure. Water doesn't say that. And if somebody were to put flowers and fragrance and so much incense to the water, water doesn't say, okay, put more flowers, put more fragrance, put more pure things. Water always stays the same. I live like such a heart, enlightened Bhante said. Again, enlightened Bhante said that I live like the ground, earth. Sometimes people put pleasant things, sometimes people put unpleasant things. But the ground doesn't say, only give me the fragrance, only put the flowers on me, only respect me, but don't put ugly things to me. Land doesn't tremble and quake and ask and beg, please only put good things. I live my life, my heart is like that, vast. And then the Bhante said, I live like fire. Sometimes people put good things to fire, bad things to fire. But does the fire protest? No. I only can burn the good things. I cannot burn these ugly things. No. And I live like the air. The air goes to the flowers and air goes to the excrement. It doesn't matter. The air welcomes whatever there. I live like that. So now, friends, what do we have in our body? Isn't that we have earth, ground, like the properties of the earth, solid things in our body? Yes, we have solid things in our body. After cut the hair, it falls down to the ground and it decomposes and it will become the ground. What we have in our body? Liquid parts, like the water. We have blood, sweat, grease. What happened to these properties? When they fall down, these liquid things mix with the water and disappear. What is about our body? What else we have? Warmth. We have fire, the warmth property that burns what we eat, and it burns our body. We get fever, we get hot, we get heat. And later this heat will mix with the outside fire, the water, like the outside heat, and disappear. And in our body we have air, in breath and out breath. That's what we have. Whatever the outside world, we have inside in our body. But our mind attached only to the parts in this body, and it caught up the hair, it caught up the liquid parts in the body, like the blood, sweat, and so on. It caught up the warmth in the body. It also caught up the air in the body, and think, okay, this belongs to me. The mind think, okay, this is what I possess. But what happens? Whether we liked it or not, at some point they will go and disappear to the world. Fire go to the fire, air go to the air, solid go to the earth, water things go to the water and disappear. But now we call those things. And we conceive and we make conceit by thinking, okay, this is me. This is what I am. This is myself. I won't let these things go. But it's contradictory to the reality. Then we suffer. Then the Chief Bhante said, I live my life free. I freed from this body. And that is why he said, I look like a cow cut off the horns. I'm not thinking about attacking another. I live like a gently, like a boy born in a low caste. And this is very beautiful. He said, there is a cloth which cleans the floor. My heart is like that. I have such a vast humbleness. I don't think that there is something to take as a self, a conceit. I don't assume that there is everything is under my control. That I liberated. My mind is now like air, fire. Okay, friends, that is the great humbleness. So then Buddha said, okay, you fool. The only word Buddha say normally is the fool, foolish man. Ask for forgiveness from this enlightened Bhante. So then the enlightened Bhante, if he asks for the forgiveness, I would give him the forgiveness. So he asked for the forgiveness. He was the one who had a great wisdom, a great knowledge. The knowledge about the life is setting us free. Wisdom setting us free. Can you guess from what does it set us free? From self. Because we are making an incorrect perception that there is a permanent self. There is a self in us, that in these parts. In five aggregates, we assume there is a authority of self. So what we are doing by developing meditations, developing wisdom, is that we get to know there is nothing to hold as a self. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So why sometimes when we try to meditate loving kindness, what stops us? Our self-belief. No, don't. Keep something to you. Don't expand your love. I don't think it should stop us. I mean, we are here to enjoy limitless love. Do you like to enjoy little love or unconditional love? What do you like?
Unconditional.
Yeah, because we want to explore, don't we? Do you like to explore your life? Or do you like to explore the outside? Do you like to explore the planets? I mean, it's okay. I mean, let's explore. It's no problem. But first, how about exploring inside and then enjoying so much love and compassion, whatever it has to offer us, setting us this self-view? Because sometimes it says in some teachings, self-view is like Adaraniya Vadakaya. Adaraniya means lovely. Vadakaya means murderer. It means like it keeps back of us and is staying inside of us and stopping us, limiting us. That doesn't mean that we go to a mountain and jump off a cliff, that we go out from our protection. But the protection is come to us very powerfully if we let go that self-view and start to see these conditions and then setting us to increase these good qualities. Okay. I refer to the, as I think, Yamaka Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya 3rd, that you can study about this lovely murderer. Even when we start to observe breathing, what stops us is our own mind, or our own, not mind, our own self-view. Okay. Because mind tells, okay, just think little about sense desire, and later you can come to the breathing. Trust the teaching. Start to by having respect necessary, paying necessary respect to the teaching, and start practicing. You will see everything start to unfold in front of you, and it will take you to the enlightenment. Okay, friends. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.